Hey guys, we're live on the moon, and I'm going to do a second session. I did one without a Barlow. Now I'm going to try to do a survey of the moon with a 2.5 Powermate Teleview Barlow. It's about 9 p.m. The moon is higher in the sky than it was earlier this evening, and if this turns out, I might end up putting it on. There, you see that just gets overpowered. I got to turn the contrast down. I might end up putting this on tomorrow's YouTube. I am in a atmospheric condition, as you can see, but I am 2.5 times closer than I was before. So it'll be interesting just to see what I can see. And you can see that I'm a lot closer than I was a little earlier this evening with the normal survey. And Barlow is bringing out the color as well. I'm going to do a circumference like I did before, a full circumference of the moon. Then I'll try to do passes. I have, right now, I set it up where my exposure is on auto, so it'll automatically adjust. See how it kind of brightened up a little bit there. I did try, see how it brightened there, this auto. It's better to have it on auto when I'm doing something like this. I did try the 5 times, but as you can see, I mean, the moon itself is, it's it's really not inducive to a good survey with a Barlow, but I have been away from the moon for such a long time that I don't care, and I just want to do one. So I'm going to do it, and I'll share it with you if it turns out, or even if it doesn't, so some of you guys can see I'm still around. The last time I did a Barlow survey, gotta start going up. See what happens. I gotta turn the contrast down a little bit. You can see what happens is it overpowers my I might turn that auto if I keep on having problems. Let me turn the camera control to put it on manual control. So now I can crank it up and it's not going to be jumping around. It is interesting. Now we're on the edge of the moon, and we're going to be approaching these mountain ranges in here. You can see them a lot clearer with this Barlow because we are closer. Personally, I like to do a survey with the Barlow because you invariably are closer, and you will just see something that you wouldn't otherwise see. Even though the moon is not inducive to clarity right now, it sometimes yields interesting surprises whenever you explore it like this. And that's what I look at. This is kind of like a Vasco da Gama, or Magellan, or Christopher Columbus, Cortez. Well, not Cortez. I'm exploring a new world. It's like an adventure. You don't know what you're going to run into, especially with the Barlow. You can see the atmospherics. I had a little wind there. One thing when I'm out here on the porch like I am tonight, look at the atmospherics are getting, looks like see how it waves in and out? Looks like let's just sit on that and see what happens to it. It's the bane of the astronomer, the wind and the atmospherics. As the moon rises, and I've been kind of waiting for it to rise higher, and this probably will be my last session tonight because it's going to run into my porch roof. But as the moon rises, the atmospherics get clearer. But that doesn't mean they go away. Especially, we've had a lot of rain. That's my coffee. Have had a lot of rain and clouds and everything. Okay, let's continue our survey. It is in focus. It's just a kind of a hazy moon tonight. Moon glow, you look up at the moon and you see a little haze around it. Well, what you're looking at here is you're looking at a hazy picture. I can't do too much about it, but again, you just don't know what you're going to see. Let's just sit on that for just a second. It's very unusual. Sometimes the atmospherics on the moon will amplify even something that you're looking at. Isn't that, doesn't that look strange? You got these mountain ranges and the optical illusion. See how it waves? It's kind of spooky, isn't it? Let me turn up the exposure just a little bit. See, like that, it's just too much. Let's continue our circumference survey. I've been reading my Indiana Jones. Sometimes when the world is a troubling place like it is right now, every time you turn on the TV, it's just negative, negative, negative. And quite frankly, that'll get you down. That'll wear anybody down. So what I have a tendency to do is read, and I've been reading Indiana Jones. I have all the omnibus comics, and basically I went through all their comics, and I'm reading all the novels. See, uh, Rod McGregor wrote about 13 Indiana Jones novels, pennyback kind of novels that were sanctioned by Lucas, and I have them. They're all on paperback. They never did hardback, and I've been reading them. they're just a lot of fun. I love Indiana Jones. He's my hero. Okay, now look here. See how it's kind of overpowering right there? Let me turn the contrast or the exposure down just a little bit. See how I brought out a little more of the detail. And the other thing that I started doing, actually the last 3 days I haven't been reading Indiana Jones. I've been reading Sax Romo's series on Fu Manchu, the notorious Fu Manchu. So I've been reading The Insidious Fu Manchu, The Return of Fu Manchu, and The Mask of Fu Manchu. I'm working on The Mask of Fu Manchu. Okay, that completes our circumference survey. Okay, let's kind of go north now. If I there you go. You push the button, it takes forever to kick in. Okay, now let's just do a up-down survey of the moon, see what we can see. And who knows what we'll see on this. Maybe something weird. I was reading Fu Manchu on my Kindle. I have 3 Kindles. Um, I own, let's see, a Scarface. Let me kind of go on it and turn down the exposure just to bring out some of the detail. I'll turn it up again. I have 3 Kindles. The original Kindle, when it first came out, I was one of the first people to buy it. Then I bought the large Kindle, the large format Kindle, the one that does PDF files. And I do most of my reading on that Kindle, and I was reading Fu Manchu on that. Then I remembered that, okay, now let's go down. So I go over, then I move over, and then I try to go up and down. It's an interesting crater. And I remembered that I had the smaller, newer Kindle, and it had a text to speech option. Let me turn the exposure up. See how it's getting dark? It's better. This is my birthmark right there. It's going to be fixed on the lens. It's a defect in the camera. Same right down here. And so I decided I'd try that out. And I mean to say that was so cool. It's just like reading, the guy's reading a book. I mean, inflectuations are the same, they're correct. The and he actually reads a little bit faster than I read. So I decided I was going to read the book with the text to read, and he even pronounces all the words correctly. I mean, weird words and foreign words, pauses with commas, and I mean everything was right. Absolutely incredible. So I decided to read. So I've been reading the book with the text to speech, and I think I went the wrong way. So I've been reading if I can find this thing again. I'm pushing. Let me hit a pause. I'm gonna pause it. Okay, I found my moon. I uh, I have a real difficulty. What I'm doing is I'm going butt up against the Powermate, butt up against the focuser. So I'm inverted again, and I just sometimes can't remember how to push the buttons. Anyhow, I've been having this book read to me, and it's remarkable. I can actually cover a lot of ground, and so I've been enjoying myself, getting my mind off of the crises in the world and thinking pleasant thoughts. I'm hoping with this Barlow that I can look. Okay, I think we were there. Let's go down right here. Go up first. Okay. Now we'll go down and let's adjust the exposure again. Crank it down. Again, this is a survey with a 2.5 times Barlow on a hazy moon. But it is what it is. Sometimes we get lucky and can see something real interesting. I wanted though to try this Barlow, and I wanted to specifically try it because I have this one city up by Crystal Lake, what I call Crystal Lake, that I wanted to see if I could see anything closer. And unfortunately, the 5 times Barlow is not going to work for us, but this 2.5 is working fine. It would be better if it was not quite as hazy, but we still are. See, the problem is sometimes I get to the bottom and I hit the right button, but it just doesn't go up. It's hard to explain it. Sometimes it's just. I think it's the clockwork. So anyhow, I've been reading the Dr. Fu Manchu novels, which were written in 1915 through 1917, 18, and so it puts you right smack dab in the middle of old London back in that day with the Thames River and everything. It's just it's wonderful stuff. It's kind of like an extension of Sherlock Holmes. Different character, but same kind of time. Sherlock Holmes is supposed to have taken place in the late 1800s, and this is the early 1900s. But it's the same kind of an atmosphere with gas lights, and just it's pretty interesting. And I think that we should be approaching the Crystal Lake City next pass, maybe. I'm using a label microphone, uh, and I ended up getting a Logitech USB microphone, but I haven't really tried it yet. Now see, I'm trying to go up. There it goes. The one thing that you miss, though, when I'm inside is you miss the train whistle and the dogs and the crickets. You don't hear the crickets very. Let me make sure. Yeah, okay. The crickets, I can hear them, but you probably can't hear them. My little observatory is on my second story porch, and you know, the crickets aren't as loud as it would be if you were at ground level. See that thing right there? It kind of, I know it's just, okay, well, let's move over. We're not moving over very far. Okay. This is a pretty good telescope. It will hover fairly good whenever you say stop, and but moving up and down the left and right, sometimes it's difficult to get it on the right tangent. Like I say, I think it's a Clockworks. Moon is kind of bland tonight, guys. Not as interesting as a moon. There it goes. As a moon with a shadow line. But it is what it is. This is a 2.5 times bar. Oh, there it is right there. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think this is our Crystal Lake. It's hard to get the perspective correct. This is one of those craters that are half under kind of water. And this area right here is the Crystal Lake. And let's see, there's not, it's hard to, I think this is that one crater that we had with the ramp. I think that, I don't know, it's just hard for me to tell looking at this. Although, okay, this is upside down. The bottom line is it's hard to see detail because it's just too See, it's too hazy. Okay, well, let's just continue along. We're not going to see the kind of detail I was hoping. But I think that there is a city complex in this area. And we'll just continue along and see if we can see anything, if anything pops up. See, that looks like the cut that we've been looking at many times. Okay. Just don't have the clarity that I think sometimes on a full moon when it's really bright and it's clear, you have a chance of seeing some remarkable things. But because of the haze of the moon right now, just not inducive to revealing any secrets tonight. Well, I'm pushing the button the right way. Let's see if it catches up with itself and goes up there. There it goes. So you can see the waves. Looks like a dome right there, guys. I know we've needed the rain here in Texas really, really bad, but when I just as soon it rained during the day and have crystal clear skies at night. See, it looks to me like we're able to see things, but we're not able to get the clarity because of the haze. The other thing I've been doing, I've been watching the Indiana Jones movies. I have them all, and also I've been watching I got the James Bond movies in Blu-ray. Let's look at this thing right here. Let's go up just a little bit. There's something right up here that look kind of unusual. See that? Kind of a mountain range. So I've been watching the James Bond movies in Blu-ray, and the first one I watched was Doctor No, and that was made in 1961. I remember going to see that in the theater. I mean, that's an incredible movie. I love James Bond, all the James Bond movies, and in 1963, 64, I actually, when I was working in a hotel on Nantucket Island, Massachusetts, I went to a place called the Hub and bought all the paperbacks and read them, every one of them, when I was on the island that summer. I was up there working for my uncle at a, I'm pushing the right button, guys, there it goes. Working for the summer as a salad boy in a restaurant called India House on India Street. Quite an adventure for me. Ever since I fell in love with the sea. Anyhow, Dr. No was the first James Bond movie, and it was they did absolutely stunning work. It was better than the original picture. Absolutely stunning. So much color and so much detail. That's interesting. And the other thing that I've been doing, trying to get my mind off of all the things going on in the world, was I started watching the original Superman series from 1951. I saw all the. I was born in '47, so I saw those as a kid. I watched them all, and it's bringing back a lot of memories. Back in the good old days of the United States of America, I grew up in Evans City, Pennsylvania, and the perfect environment for a kid to grow up with woods and everything. Just, I'm pushing the right button, guys. There it goes. It's interesting how you can see this detail right on the edge. Really interesting. Had a pretty, had a wonderful childhood. That looks like a dome, doesn't it? With a reflection. I could go up on the top of the mountain into the woods anytime I want, and then I did it all the time. Great childhood. The Superman series, at least the first year, was remarkable in that they're 30 minutes long, but they were made like movies, so they're mini movies. Each one stands on its own. There's our high. See it right there? Mini movies. After I finished watching them, I got the complete Perry Mason series of the original Perry Mason, which I'm going to watch, uh, which I love too. That's the way I get my mind off the dastardly things going on in the world. Okay, pushing the right button, guys. There it goes. Gotta wait on it. Well, this is going to be a good 2.5 Barlow survey of the moon. It's just not quite as clear as I would like it. See that right? Well, that's a crater. I put a video, a separate video, a thing I called the tongue on the moon, and that was the most strangest thing I've ever seen. I don't have any idea what that is, but that's the kind of thing you're going to see with that 5 times Barlow. Strange things. And quite frankly, with this 2.5 times Barlow, if there was a saucer that took off from the surface, we'd see it clear. No doubt about it. Let me turn the exposure up. Okay. There's the high. See high? Well, let me turn the exposure down. It's staying in focus. That's good. I just wish it was clear, but it's as clear as it can be with the moon the way it is. And I'm almost losing the moon up to the roof. But we'll be able to finish this survey, I believe. There's that skid. Mike and I were studying that Revelation 12 again. I don't think pastors across this country have a clue about what all that is. That looks like an asteroid, doesn't it? I would say 99% of the pastors across that country don't have a clue about what Revelation 12 really means. But Mike and I do. So we know more than most of the pastors in the country right now. At least about that verse. There's that, see that skid mark? We're really close to the moon right now, guys. It's just that if it was clear, if it wasn't as hazy up there, we'd see more detail. But it's probably as close as a good survey as I can do of the moon. You stick with me, and we're gonna, we'll have good days and bad days, but we're gonna, see things, and sometimes we won't. But we're gonna do surveys every night. You say, well, why, Bill, are you doing this? I'm doing this because we're in the end times. And I believe with all my soul that there's fallen angels up on this moon. And we're going to see things that looks alien to me, guys. Alien. We're going to see things that'll blow you away. You don't see them every time you look at the moon, but the Lord commanded us to keep our eyes on the heavens for the signs. And I think that's how we're going to know. That's a real bright crater right there. He actually commanded us in Revelation to keep our eyes on the heavens, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I saw something right down there. I don't know what it is. I'm going to go back and look at it. Doesn't look like it was anything. One thing about old Bill, if there's something strange on the moon, he's going to find it and he's going to point it out. See, I was looking at this cut. That's what it is a cut. Now look at these, just the way the light is on these mountains. See these kind of mountain ranges right here? And we're just about done with our survey, guys. Not quite. There's with that cut I was looking at before. By the way, Mike, we're getting that camera in, that new camera that I was talking about last week. We're getting it kind of manufactured. It's a 10 megapixel camera, and I'll be very anxious to see what it'll do. Alien, guys, alien. And I expect that we'll get it in towards the end of the week. Look, that edge just blows me away, guys. It looks like you're looking at an incoming asteroid, with just the way those are the ridges and everything. Just some strange stuff. So we'll get that camera in and be able to use it with regular lenses. So it'll be interesting to see what. I know for sure I'll be able to show you the moon, like I'll be able to show you the full moon in one screen. Uh, it will be interesting to see how it works and everything. Like on Saturn or well Saturn. I haven't. Somebody asked me about Saturn. Um, we aren't going to be able to see Saturn until November or December. It's coming up. It's right now. Saturn is. It's kind of right with the sun. So when you're looking at the sun, Saturn's right next to the sun, and so you just can't see it. It's not in my night sky. Let's go back up and look at that. That was kind of interesting. But Saturn will be eventually visible, and I'll be able to show it to you. Just like Jupiter, with all the moons of Jupiter, I might be able to show you all the moons of Jupiter lined up on one screen with this new camera. This is our last pass. So I am anxious about absolutely alien, guys. Okay, that's as good a place as any to wrap it up. A good 2.5 times Barlow. I used my Teleview Powermate 2.5 times Barlow. Good survey, pretty much in focus the entire time. Moon was hazy, lacked some of the detail that you would have maybe otherwise seen. I'll brighten it up a little bit. But it was all in all a good survey. We did survey the entire moon. Like I told you before, the best time to look at the moon is when it's got a shadow line because you can see a lot of detail. And this kind of edge really looks kind of spooky, like an asteroid. Inbound asteroid. And I think for sure if NASA knew about it, they'd never tell us in a million years, guys. A million years. Anyhow, wish you and yours clear skies, guys.